There's Kriya in there, in the podium. You only need one Kriya rhythm, and he's going to do his own podium. Well, that's what you know. I don't know if you explain that. Who explained? You tell me what time we'll put some in. Are you going to speak or not, Jess? You didn't let me know. No, Robin said she didn't know because you didn't give her a final. What? It's okay. You don't have to.
I know I'm not.
Of course I'm not. That's up to you.
See where all wants to go first. Huh? Yeah, they should be.
Yeah,
by
all
the
theirs will stay over there for right now.
You know where all of it wants to
I just. No, you have a rabbi. Oh, you're. On those, get you guys over to the chairs and take a seat.
on the end. I just put my bag. Black here. Dress. Dress. Ilana? No, Mark's. You should be sitting. Ilana? Robin's
Wait. That's fine.
I understand that, because otherwise. Right? Why don't you actually put her on her own chair, you do whatever you want, I just want to read. Yeah, but they're not.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can invite you to come this way and fill the area of the street over here, but you make sure to get out of the active driveway. Cell phone. Ladies and gentlemen, the family has been seated. There are many extra chairs. Please don't be bashful and come forward and have a seat.
From the 121st Psalm. Esarinai el heharim, me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shemayim v'aretz. Al yatein lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael, Adonai tzomrecha. Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka. Yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra. Yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzedcha v'oecha me'atavi arula. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. The protector will not slumber. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your soul. The Lord will guard your going out and your coming in, this time forth and forevermore. And don't you worry at all about that baby's cry. Don't you worry. Let that baby cry. It's okay. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of all generations. Thou governest all things with infinite wisdom and mercy. You guidest the destinies of all of humankind. As a parent have you loved us and showered your blessings upon us. Therefore we shall not murmur even when sorrow befalls us. With humility and unfaltering trust, we shall accept your decrees. In joy and in sorrow alike we praise your goodness and acknowledge your justice. We remember that we are but strangers upon earth. Like a shadow, our life flees away. Help us, O God, so to walk in your sight, that when the few years of our earthly pilgrimage are ended, we may be ready to meet our end with tranquil mind. We look for comfort and strength. One of our beloved is taken from us, and the link is broken in the chain of love which binds us together. Though we walk in the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil. You are with us. Praised, O eternal our God, in all your dispensations. Sanctified be your name, now and forevermore. There is probably no piece of literature that is used more often at moments like this than the words of the 23rd Psalm. Many of you who have been here before know I have a special feeling about why we say this. So I want to share it, especially for you as a family. I learned a long time ago when I was in rabbinical school, different one, Robin, sorry, different place. I learned a long time ago that when King David, who is the author of the Psalms, wrote this psalm, he wasn't just acknowledging that death befronts us, But he was trying to give advice to mourners. And when it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, it's trying to say that those who mourn have to walk through the valley. Can't get stuck in the middle of it. It's so often happens. In order for us to move forward in life, we have to accept death of our loved ones, always remembering who they were, and the importance that they have in our lives, how best we can keep them alive and give them immortality. I'm going to read the psalm in Hebrew, then in English, and those of you who would like to participate, please feel free to do so. Adonai roi lo echzor, vino deshe yarbitzeni al mei menuchot yinalei. Nafshi shovei v'yanchini b'maglei tzedek l'man shemo. Gam ki elech b'geit samavet, lo irara ki ata imadi. Shiftecha mishantecha hema yenachamu. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged sororai. Shanta v'shemen roshi kosi levaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdafuni kol yemei chayai. Shavti b'veit Adonai la'orech. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Restoreth my soul. Guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. We shall dwell in the house of God. At this point, we have a few members of the family who want to share some thoughts with us. First, we're going to call upon son-in-law, Vlad.
It's a really hard day for me, for my family, for everyone. I know Anya for 45 years or so. She's a person of great, even greatest integrity. She showed us a lot of love, honest, and absolutely incredible person. I have a strong belief that it's my belief that I can call only one person mom and one person dad. But she never called me son, but always told me that I'm not son-in-law. I'm to her like a son, and I, to be honest, I feel like she's a mother to me. But it's more than that. She is, in my view, mother not only to me. She was a mother for everyone who I know, who she knew, and probably will live in our hearts like everyone's mother. Rest in peace, and we will have you in our heart forever.
Now I want to call upon Isabel, granddaughter. And whoever else is going to stand with her.
First, I just want to say a big thank you to my uncle Boba and my aunt Ala and my cousins Alana, Matt, Sophia, and Andrew. and my cousin Jessica, and my new cousin Tom, who let Jessica come to take care of my grandma while the rest of us were in New York. They were with her, and we got to hear from them. And we were really, and I'm just grateful for everything that you did that enabled us to have our basha for that much longer. So thank you. Dearest Basha, it's me, Isabel. I love you so much. I'm feeling a bit lost right now and could really use your help. I want to play school like we did when I was little. It's your turn to be the teacher and my turn to be the student. I need you to instruct me. How am I supposed to go on when the person who I thought was going to live forever is no longer here? This is the kind of question you would know how to answer because you are a superhero. You are a survivor. In your lifetime, you've had to experience the loss of your father, brother, husband, mother, and sister. But despite these losses, you pushed through and made it to be an aunt, a wife, a mother-in-law, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. You were able to persevere and bounce back despite whatever hardship you faced. And because of your innate and natural resilience, you are a symbol of strength to all who knew you. And Basha, having a matriarch like you with such strength would be enough to say Dayenu. Yet coupled with your unbreakable strength, you are a human being who only knew decency at your core. You always like to say, you are never boastful and always grateful to God. You taught me from a very young age that life is a gift, and therefore you honored life by living as the most decent and ethical human being I have ever met. Basha, what I would do to dance with my daddy to Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive for you, or to have you kiss my Ruchi, or to hear you call me Sonsa. I will try not to get stuck on that which I cannot control. The pain in figuring out how to exist, go on without you. The person I thought would live forever is frightening, overwhelming, and lonely. Yet, I would be foolish to think you are completely gone. Your secret weapon in life was your unwavering love for your family. And Basha, look at us here. We love you and we love each other so much. Right now, we will hold onto your legacy and we will carry it amongst ourselves and, God willing, instill it into our future generations. May we merit the coming of Mashiach immediately. And until we are reunited physically, I always think about what you told me when I expressed my loneliness and missing your company a few years back. You said, I am behind you, in front of you, on your right side and on your left side. I am always with you. Basha, you are always with us.
And now you, Robin, who has been with this family, obviously.
On the occasion of my 50th birthday, Anya opened her toast to me by saying,
Robin was not the girl I wanted my son to marry. Pause, followed by a tense and somewhat awkward silence. Finally, she said, "But you have been the best wife to my son, my best present to you. I may not have been the ideal daughter-in-law, but I was privileged to have the best mother-in-law." Anya and I squabbled over silly things like, should the kids wear an extra sweater on a brisk 85-degree day? Okay, I just have to say, Anya would be so mad that we were out here after it snowed and it was cold, and if your coats aren't zipped up and what have you. We would squabble over things like, did I wrap their ears with a scarf if there was the slightest breeze in the air? And of course, the all-time favorite, I was not allowed to let anyone go out of the house with wet hair for fear of catching a cold. No matter the cultural or generational differences, the core of Anya's concerns stemmed from her fierce desire to protect those she loved. And oh, how she loved us. We may have been her reason for living, but she offered the world even more. There is a concept originally from the Talmud of the Lamed Vavnut, that in every generation, there are 36 righteous men. In the Talmud, it's always men, sorry. 36 people who, by virtue of how they live, bring the divine presence to earth and therefore justify the existence of humanity. I think you all know where I'm going with this. Hasidic tradition took this concept one step further to call them tzaddikim nistarim, or the hidden righteous ones, meaning they themselves did not know that they were righteous. These were the 36 kind of compassionate people who had no clue whatsoever that they were part of this club, so to speak. In fact, their humility was so great that they could not even imagine themselves as righteous. To me, Anya was one of these 36 righteous individuals. She was literally the most selfless person I have known. Anya put the benefit of others before herself in her quiet way. Everyone here knows, again, exactly what I'm talking about. Anya's ability to give to others went beyond pride. It was her ability to see beyond herself, to know that she was and had enough. There are countless stories of her working and sending money back to the Ukraine, buying and giving away boxes of chocolates or gifts, making donations to practically every cause that arrived through her mailbox. Anya lived her life with direction, purpose, and meaning in a way that is largely misunderstood and underrated by modern society. Watching Anya's life fade away these past months was excruciating. For me, the only moments of relief came from watching Anya's legacy spring into action as the family rallied to care for her through her final months and days. Alla and Vlad, we would have been lost these past years without all that you have done to take care of her and love her. You are the reason that Mark and I could go to sleep at night knowing that Anya was with you. Alana and Matt, your presence lifted the mood of the house, especially the visits from Sophia and Andrew. Every kiss and every smile gave Anya strength and fortitude. Jessica and Sambit, your newlywed bliss infused her with joy that gave her that little bit of extra oomph. Mark, you are a son like no other. And I can only say that I hope all the sons and daughters here can learn from his example. Isabel, Kobe, Manny, and Daniel, you are her 4 pieces of art, as she liked to call you. And Isabel and Daniel, you have beautiful Razel Bassi hair named after her sister Rosa. The night before Anya died, she asked me when she could see Izya. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to say, I want to thank Lesya and Natasha. I believe you're both here, and if somebody could please, maybe they understand what I'm saying, just add on in Russian if you're by them. Thank you for your kindness and your gentleness. Watching you with her was unbelievable. The night before Anya died, she asked me when she could see Izya, her late husband of blessed memory. I said soon. I promised Anya that we would be okay, that as a family, imperfect and kooky as we are, we would love and care for each other. We have lost the pillar of our family. We have lost the physical presence of a righteous, noble, precious woman. But her legacy of compassion and kindness is up to each of us to carry forward. I pray that in our pain and loss, we can draw on the part of Anya that lives in each of us. I pray that Anya's soul is with those she loves, held eternally in holiness. I know that her memory will always be a blessing. And Rabbi Foster, I thank you for everything.
So, having been a part of this community for so long, and this family for so long, I'm never surprised when this family gets together that there isn't sort of something somebody says or somebody wants to do something that we weren't prepared for. Her sister was Rosa. And Alan is here and it's just asked if you could say a few words. Do you want me to put the clock on? Or
Foster's joking. I wasn't prepared to say anything, and only person I know who wanted to leave the restaurant because she was telling the waiters have to go to their families. I'm not gonna let's leave soon. Only the person who was so kind that it's indescribable. I lost my mom. I felt grief and sorrow. I left my dad. I felt like I'm an orphan. I lost my sister. It was very, very hard. My son asked me, how do you feel losing Anya? I told him, I have a huge void, emptiness. And I just felt like I'm now all alone. Anya was the second mother to me. She knew when I was born. Was the second mother. She always will live in our hearts, in our souls. That's it.
Oh, it is written, birth is a beginning. And death is a destination. But life itself is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage. From childhood to maturity and from youth to age. From innocence to awareness and from ignorance to knowing. From foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom. From weakness to strength, or from strength to weakness, and often back again. From health to sickness, and back, we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, from grief to understanding, and from fear to faith. From defeat to defeat until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death is a destination. Life itself is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage, from birth to death, to life that is everlasting. Beloved family, dear friends, we are all less today because Anya's gone. Each of us in our own way. Because she had a relationship with everybody who's here. She had an impact upon everybody who's here. And now that she's gone, in some real way, we are less. Alan, you said it very well. So we come here as a family that is grieving, come here as a community, as friends, to offer our condolences to this family, to as best we can bring some comfort as they feel this sense of loss. People live their lives and have an impact upon others, a real impact. And I know, having been here so often, I know we often say that, but the truth is, Anya did have an impact. It wasn't just something to be said about her. It's the way she tried to live. Yes, she lived a long life. 94 years is not a short life. Would you have liked to have had more? Without question. There's no question about that. We can't judge a person by how many years they live. But she had a long life. She saw the best within human beings. And unfortunately, because of where she lived, how she grew up, she saw the worst in what people can do to one another. And she carried that with her all the time. I remember the first time I was in Ukraine and I was in Kiev, and I talked to her about it afterwards, and she said, you know, I have people there, my father, my brother, they're in that ravine. She never forgot that. She always understood that, as do many of us who are here. She had a link to the past. Yes, it's appropriate for us to be here on this day to pay homage to her. Unfortunately, we have been in this place too often of late. We have been together too often, family and friends, to say goodbye and to say that we will give them that immortality that only we can give. By remembering and by living as they tried to live in their highest moments. And the same holds true for Anya. You as a family, you have to grieve, as you will, and you should. And sometimes that grief will mean that you will laugh, as you will remember parts of her life that can't help but bring a smile to your face. And at other times, there'll be tears. And sometimes the tears and the laughter will be mixed. So that's life. And yes, she lived that long time. She lived as a friend. She was that person who many of you knew because when you came here, she was a helper She wasn't a helper because she was sympathetic. That wasn't Anya. Anya was a helper because she was empathetic. She understood what it meant to come here, with the strengths and the weaknesses of that decision, with all of those things that she thought about. Was her coming to America something she wanted to do in the beginning? No. Did Rosa say to her, you better, otherwise these kids will wind up in the army someplace. At least as you look around, family, you have a family that is living, breathing, and remembering, and doing, and trying to make this world of which you're a part a much better place because of your presence. Are any of us perfect at that? No. But in this great country in which we live, that you have adopted, we have that opportunity, we have that chance. And she came to understand that. Maybe that's why she was the mother to everybody. Not just to you, Robin, and not just to you, Vlad. She was the mother to everybody. I loved yesterday when we were at your house. And you said, you know, you can't go home without something. That's what she would always say. So Alla, you made Joyce take home this big piece of chocolate, which I ate the whole thing last night. No, I'm joking. Because that was the way your mother lived. And doing what you did yesterday is a way of remembering what she did throughout her life. To emulate that. Our reminder here today is how precious life is really for all of us. And for you as family, especially for you as her children. This is a time to contemplate what this mother was about. Let me just read a piece of this beautiful, beautiful short essay. The essayist wrote, "Death is sweet when it comes in its time and in its place. This is the time and place. You as children are supposed to bury your parents, obviously not the other way around. When it is part of the order of things. For a mother, death is only half a death. Each life in turn bursts like a pod and sends forth its seed. When a mother dies, for a second time the umbilical cord is cut. For a second time the knot is loosened, the knot that bound one generation to the next. Now the mother lies broken but at rest. A vein from which the gold has been extracted. A vein from which the gold has been extracted. This is the gold. This family. And I would hope that each of you would see yourselves that way because of the influence she has had upon your lives. So we're here to be reminded about how precious life is. And yes, we're here to grieve and we're here to wonder about the mystery of this world and the world to come, whatever that's going to mean. And it means something different to each of us. And that's okay, as long as we live by what it is that we believe. And this is a time for memory, because each of us remembers her differently. I say this to the grandchildren and to the great-grandchildren and to those that are yet unborn. It's a time to emulate who she was. For the grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you got to teach the next generation about who she was and how she wanted to live in her highest moments of life. That's what gives a human being immortality. Remember who she was, because she was remarkable as a human being. And this family is remarkable as a family. I think of all of the stories, and I think of all of the accomplishments of this family. All of you. I think it is remarkable. When I think about how this family has come to this new place and bequeathed it to the next generation, became successful in everything you've done. That is a remarkable feat. Because there are too many people for whom that is not what happens. This family, Anya included, gave leadership to this community in particular. You can look to them for what it means to come here and to start again. So who was she? What are the strengths of her life? First, I think about her loyalty. Not only to this community here that she served for so many years through Jewish Family Service. I don't mean just this community. I thought about this last night. She became widowed when she was 47. Half of her life was in widowhood. You didn't forget. She remained loyal. And she wanted to make sure that your dad's resting place was still seen as Admat Kodeshu, sacred space. Because that's what she thought was important. So she was loyal. She was decent. She was honest. She lived with dignity and grace. When she took a step, she did so with pride. And she saw the pride in those that she has left behind. It's not easy to begin again, but she did. Why? Because she was independent. Oh, I know she lived with you. I realized that. She was independent. She did things that she probably shouldn't have done, like making sure that she was there when a great-grandchild was born, even though she had been medicated and shouldn't have been driving. But you know, Anya was who she was. And she did what she wanted to do, and she was independent. She enjoyed the soft sides of life, music and poetry and literature. Those were all things that were important to her. She was smart and capable. She had street smarts. Oh, she didn't get a PhD except in life, but she had those street smarts. She knew how to give advice to people. She was generous in so many ways. When we usually talk about generosity, we talk about people giving of their means. But she did more than that. She probably gave to too many different charities. And whether it was $5, $10, or $100, doesn't matter. She probably gave to too many because her heart was always touched. But the truth is, generosity is of the spirit. And that's who she was. She wanted to help in any way she could. She was a person who understood hospitality. She was a person who understood what it meant to be a mother. She loved to cook, and she was a good cook. That was part of her motherhood. I suppose she loved it each time that somebody said, that's pretty good, Mom. She learned to love being here. She learned to love to watch this family grow. And I don't just mean by numbers. I saw the picture you showed me yesterday, Jess, of the day you got married when you had to come see your grandma, because she couldn't be there. I understand that. But I saw that smile on her face because she saw that as another day in which there was an expansion in this family. and a chance to carry on. That's an important concept at this particular moment. She was a selfless person, not selfish at all. She didn't try to spend money on things for herself. She tried to do for her family and for others. She was intuitive. So you could talk with Anya and you could watch her smile. That smile told you a lot, not just about the fact that she understood, but she knew the right from wrong. And she knew the people who were trying to take advantage. She understood that without question. And like most of us, she could be stubborn. What would life be like without that sense of stubbornness? She loved her years at Jewish Family Service and working with Yana. And all of those people that were a part of that team. It wasn't just individuals who were helped. There was a team of people that made a difference. I know that because Joyce was part of that team. And they did make a difference. And one of the reasons that you are all here today is because of that teamwork of which she was a part. She was a caregiver extraordinaire. And you as her family, you were all caregivers for her, each in your own way. I know that you guys wanted to make sure that Robin gets acknowledged. So Robin, you're acknowledged for all the things you did for your mother-in-law. Wonderful. And I'm saying that with seriousness. But that's not to forget about you guys. Mark. You were all in the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren as best they could. You were all a part of being her caregivers. And you brought smiles and joy to her life. Yes, there are tears. I understand those tears. But I also hope that there is a sense of resolution on the part of the members of this family to move forward, as she would ask of you, to make this community, whether they are newcomers or they're old comers, to make this community a better place because of your presence, wherever it is that you live. And you do that because that's what she tried to do. So to you, her beloved family, all of us who are here and who care, hope and pray that God will extend his arm of comfort to you. That you'll feel not only the memories and the challenges, but you'll feel the warmth that she has left behind. I hope these words from the poet will be helpful. The poet wrote, "When I die, if you need to weep, cry for someone walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around others and give them what you need to give me. You can love me most by sharing your joys, multiplying your good deeds. You can love me most by letting me live in your eyes and not in your mind. And when you say Kaddish, remember what our tradition teaches. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, I think that would be Anya's hope for all of us who are here and who are sharing this day of sorrow. We would continue to give her love away, help to make this world a better place. Not only by our doing what she did, but making it a better place because that's how she lived. That's how she made the world a better place. God has given. God has taken away. Praise be the name of God, now and forevermore. Let's all say together. the rising of the sun and its going down. We will remember her. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember her. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember her. In the blueness of the sky and in the heat of the summer, we will remember her. The beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember her. We are weary and in need of strength. We will remember her. We are lost and sick at heart. We will remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember her. We have decisions that are difficult to make. We have achievements based on hers. We will remember her. As long as we live, she shall live. She now is a part of us. We will remember her. Praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who forms us in the divine image, who nourishes and sustains us in your goodness, causing all of us to die. Acting in all the life of yours, we praise you, O God, judge of truth. Atagi bor le'olam Adonai Rav le'hoshia mechan k'el chaim b'chesed. V'chayei hakol b'rafamim rabim. Someach nafsim v'rafei chalim v'yotzer asim. V'kayim v'notol v'shini v'fa. V'chamot v'vavi v'yotim v'lamai. Melech me'mitim v'chayei amatzim v'kishya v'ayim. Humans remind us that all life is your gift. Great is your power to save. With love you sustain living. With compassion you give life to all. Bring us to the fall and heal us to the sick. Bring freedom to the captive and faith to faith. Speak with us. Praise you, God. Thank you to your life. Our cemetery is going good. Families ask for the opportunity to take this whole world. So trust the family. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. It is only the house of the spirit which we have laid within the bosom of the earth, but the spirit itself cannot die. For here too our dear ones continue in loving remembrance, those to whom they were precious. Receive in mercy, O God, the soul of our beloved Tsesarsky. Grant her that everlasting peace which you have prepared for us in the world to come. Though no human eye has seen nor ear has heard, no mind has compassed it, still it is our sure inheritance and our everlasting portion, now and forevermore. I would ask you now, dear family, to join with me in reciting the words that have been hallowed by centuries of faith, words that have been cherished in our tradition, words of the God's prayer. Yitkadal Yitkadash Mirabah. Yalma Divrach Hiruzeh. Yamlich Malchuteh. Chayechon V'yomechon. Chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael. Agalah Bizman Karib V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mivorach Le'olam Le'olei Omaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach. V'pa'ar V'yitamam V'yitaseh. Yitadar V'yitalev Yitalav. Shemei Dekutsha Barichu. Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata. Tushbechata V'nechemata. Ran B'yalma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shalom Araba Min Shemaya V'chayim. Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Ose Shalom B'nama. Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Yom Rachamim. Shochin B'amromim. Hamatzei Menucha Nechona. Tachat Kanfei HaShekhinah. In Kedoshim Tahorim Kazor Harakia Mazirim. Et Nishmat Chana Bat Yaakov Shalacha L'Olamah. Bal Harachamim. יסירה בספר כנפיו לעולמים. ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום. על משכבה ונאמר אמן. God, full of compassion, eternal spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence. On you, Tsesarsky. God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou her possession. May her repose. Dear friends, I hope all of you took one of these sheets. There are some still available, I think. And on this sheet, it will tell you about Shiva, the times and the places of Shiva and service. I hope that you will look at this and be with the family at those times. The departed whom we now remember has been called unto the peace of life eternal. She shall still live on earth in the acts of goodness she has performed. In the hearts of those who will ever cherish her memory, we pray that the beauty of her life will ever abide among us all. The living benediction. Be the source of peace. Send peace unto all you who mourn. May God comfort all the bereaved among us, in Israel, among all the nations, families of earth. Let us all say together. Go your way. God has called you. Go your way. God be with you. The righteousness go before you. The glory of God receive you. Let us all say together.
Thank you everybody for coming. We're going to give everybody an opportunity to be able to shovel some soil onto the grave.
Да. Да. Я спрошу, потому что я не знаю. Да. Да, может быть, сюда, типа, ложите, пожалуйста, спасибо, потому что по-другому я дам маме. Спасибо. Спасибо, Раша.